Is there a reality where Jonathan Allen, the defensive tackle for the Washington Commanders, could be possibly a future Bear with the upcoming draft right around the corner in a couple of months? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. Let's talk about it. What is going on? This is your boy Jordan JC, and I'm back again on the ATS report. Yeah, this is something that I actually saw recently on Twitter. There was a conversation between Joe Ostrowski and Brian Baldinger that got me to thinking about what the possibilities could be for this defensive line. And the question that Joe Ostrowski posed to Brian Baldinger was this. He said, "What do you do with that first pick if you're the Bears? Less than 4 months to go, time is ticking. What are you doing?" Brian Baldinger said he would keep Justin Fields and mortgage the heck out of that pick. Wide receiver, defensive end, offensive tackle, get a monster DT, and go win the North. The reason why I want to specifically pinpoint Jonathan Allen is because I believe that Jonathan Allen can be that monster DT. Instead of looking to the draft, you can address trading that number one pick to the Washington Commanders, who are currently under you at number two. We don't know what the results will be of next week's games, and if they win or if they lose, where the movement will be in the top 2 to 3 or 4 or 5. But for the most part, they'll be in that top 5 pick, right? And so with that, I think that Jonathan Allen packaged with a number of picks. We already mentioned that the Bears are going to get a haul. Even if they stay at 2, you have to imagine that if they want to get a generational quarterback in Washington, Sam Howell has done a really good job as far as stats are concerned, but I think that they're still looking to get that generational quarterback out of this draft, and they probably won't be able to pass up on the likes of Caleb Williams and Drake May and all the other quarterbacks as well, Jaden Daniels, Penix, whatever the case may be. But if they're going to try to go for that first spot, I'm pretty sure that there's a reality where the Bears can try and get Jonathan Allen along with a package of picks rather, to bring back to the Chicago Bears. Here's another reason why I say that, because Jonathan Allen, for the most part, doesn't want to be a part of the rebuild. If you remember back in October of last year now, he had an interview, and he pretty much was very tired of the way that the Washington Commanders were playing. They had gotten blown out, and a reporter asked him, how does he feel? And he straight out just threw a bunch of expletives out there. He said, "I'm tired of this. I've been dealing with this type of style of play and the losing for the last several years on this team. I'm just tired of losing." That's pretty much the clean version of what he said. He said a lot more than that, but he is already a foot out the door, maybe 2 foot out the door, as far as he's concerned. So I'm thinking that he's ready to go to greener pastures as well. He's already seen his buddies go. Only person that's left on the line with him is Daron Payne. Chase Young's going to San Francisco. They're already ready to get into the playoffs. They could be a Super Bowl contender. And of course, Montez Sweat is on the Bears, and they're an up-and-coming team. They actually have, making progress year to year. And so he's probably like, yo, I'm ready to get up out of here too and go to a better team. He's already 28 years old, which is in the prime of his career. But, those years are important for a player when it comes to, does he want to win? Does he want to go somewhere where he can actually be more impactful and he's more motivated to actually put up some numbers? And which leads to my next point. His numbers actually this year, it's kind of taken a falling off over the past years, but still an impactful premier defensive tackle. If you're talking about some of the best defensive tackles in the league, Jonathan Allen is in that conversation. He is a premier rusher from the interior. This year, 5.5 sacks, 23 tackle assists, 53 solo tackles. Last year, he had 7.5 sacks with 1 interception, and then the year before that, in 2021, he had 9 sacks, which was his all-time high. I project that if we were to get Jonathan Allen, it would probably, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but it would probably have to be if Washington falls out of that number 2 spot. One can dream and say that if the Bears and the Washington Commanders stay put, or whether the Commanders stay put at number 2, that maybe they are craving that number 1 spot enough where they're saying, hey, you know what? We'll give you a player like Jonathan Allen, along with our pick, obviously, at number 2, along with a first rounder, along with the second rounder for next year, whatever the case may be, because we're talking about generational talent coming out of here. If you thought that Bryce Young and obviously C.J. Stroud, who was doing a tremendous job when he was healthy on the Texans, are the top 2 quarterbacks being talked about in last year, Caleb Williams and Drake may blow them out the water, in my opinion, as far as what everybody's saying with their evaluation of them and the talent level they bring and what they could potentially bring to an NFL team. And so with that in mind, I think even if you drop down 1 spot, you still could get probably the same type of haul that you got for DJ Moore. But if Washington, let's just say, wins next week or whatever happens where they fall out of 2 and they go down to 3 or 4 or 5, that's just better for the Bears. The Bears can get an even larger haul. And now you're talking about maybe an assurance of a player like Jonathan Allen's talent level being included in a trade for that number 1 pick. And so we will see. In the draft, there are some names that you mentioned that you look at and say, you know, those could be players that could have an impact when it comes to the Bears needing that 3 technique, that defensive tackle that will take this defense and this team to another level next year. You've heard of the name Jerzon Newton many times. He's the best defensive tackle, in my opinion, coming out of college, straight out of Illinois, hometown pedigree. And then you also got, I believe, Sweat from Texas as well. I've seen his name sometimes at the later parts of the first round, second round pick. That's probably where he's going to go unless his draft stock begins to rise as we get closer to the draft. But those are the 2 names that I foresee going pretty early in the first couple of rounds that could have a great impact on the Bears if they go that route. But if you're talking about wanting someone who is already solidified in this game, already been there, done that in this league, then Jonathan Allen is the way to go. And now you can address all those other areas, as Baldinger mentioned, with the wide receiver, with the OT, and the defensive end as well. And we would still be in prime position to get Jr., which I know a lot of people are wanting. And so still in the top 10, and then you get Jonathan Allen, you address 3 positions of need without even getting out of the first round. That's a win-win for me, I think. And I think Ryan Poles, who I already told you is playing checkers, or rather chess, not checkers, is going to be the mastermind behind all of this. I think that he's going to make sure that there is a huge bidding war for that number 1 pick if they don't stay there, which I don't foresee, because if they're not going to go in a position of getting a quarterback to replace Justin Fields, why would you stay at number 1 when you know you can drop down a few spots and still get your guy that can take this team to another level? And so that's what I think. I want to get you guys' opinion on what do you think about Jonathan Allen? Do you think that he type of player can have a true impact on this team going forward? Do you think that he would be willing to come here and play with a former teammate in Montez Sweat and dominate the NFC North? As Ryan Poles said, hey, once we get it, we're not giving it back. And so that is what I think the trajectory of this team will be if they get someone of an ilk of Jonathan Allen. But we'll see. It's fun to think of all these things because we got so many months before the draft. We got about 3 or 4 months before the draft even happens. So we're going to be talking about all these type of crazy scenarios and what ifs all throughout the next couple of months. It is fun to talk about. It is exciting to talk about because, again, the Bears are just in prime position to do whatever they want and take a bunch of calls and see who wants to get that number 1 pick. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Do you think Jonathan Allen is the type of player that we need to go after? How does that draft trade look to you all? Give me some ideas about how you think they can go about doing that. And I will be down there with you all in the comment section as always. And as always, if you like this video, show some class, comment, like, and subscribe, share this video with others. Again, I appreciate all the views. And as always, please continue to subscribe. I believe 90% plus still are viewing the channel and viewing the videos, but you're not subscribed. So just hit that subscribe button so you can be up to date with every video that I come out with during the week. And hey, I appreciate the love, man. Until the next time, I am out on the ATS Report.